Brave New World is a novel written in 1931 by Aldous Huxley and published in 1932. Set in London in the year 2540 AD, or 632 AF after Ford in the book, the novel anticipates developments in reproductive technology, sleep learning, psychological manipulation, and classical conditioning that combine profoundly to change society. The world state was built upon the principles of Henry Ford's assembly line: mass production, homogeneity, predictability, and consumption of disposable consumer goods. While the world state lacks any supernatural-based religions, Ford himself is revered as the creator of their society, but not as a deity, and characters celebrate Ford Day and swear oaths by his name. Example, by Ford. B-Y, Ford, as by Ford, not B-U-Y. In this sense, some fragments of traditional religion are present, such as Christian crosses, which had their tops cut off to be changed to a T. From birth, members of every class are indoctrinated by recorded voices repeating slogans while they sleep, called hypnopedia in the book, to believe their own class is superior, but that the other classes perform needed functions. Any residual unhappiness is resolved by an antidepressant and hallucinogenic drug called soma. This is why the oligarchy plutocracy supports a vibrant pharmaceutical industry consisting predominantly of antidepressants, anti-anxiety, and anti-human emotion drugs. As was explained in Zero Hedge's article by Michael Snyder in The Drugging of America Summarized in 19 Mind-Altering Facts, the author makes the points that the American people are the most drugged people in the history of the planet. Illegal drugs get most of the headlines, but the truth is that the number of Americans that are addicted to legal drugs is far greater than the number of Americans that are addicted to illegal drugs. Close to 70% of all Americans are currently on at least one prescription drug. I'm not, folks. I want to interject there. I haven't had a prescription since 2010. And it's 2017, going on almost 8 years. I just gave it up and suddenly don't need them. Anyway, in addition, there are 60 million Americans that abuse alcohol. Well, I have had some beers. And 22 million Americans that use illegal drugs, which that means is almost everyone that you meet is going to be on something. That sounds absolutely crazy, but it is true. We are literally being drugged out of our minds. There are 70 million Americans that are taking mind-altering drugs right now. If it seems like most people cannot think clearly these days, it's because they can't. We love our legal drugs, and it's getting worse with each passing year. And considering the fact that big corporations are making tens of billions of dollars peddling their drugs to the rest of us, don't expect things to change anytime soon. The pharmaceutical industry funds with billions of dollars medical doctor and scientific whores who have categorically declared that the vast majority of Americans are bona fide mentally ill and thus require immediate, consistent, and long-term medication. As was recited in the article Psychiatrists, the Drug Pushers, published by The Guardian, they say failed doctors become psychiatrists and that failed psychiatrists specialize in drugs. The article asks the seminal question: is the current epidemic of depression and hyperactivity the result of disease mongering by the psychiatric profession and big pharma? Does psychiatry have any credibility left at all? Unfortunately, the long effects on the population that are the best and brightest, the ones who can easily gauge and determine just what exactly is wrong with the way the planet is being run, are oftentimes the most depressed and therefore deemed to be mentally ill. The Psychiatric Times issued an obviously well-hidden article by the oligarchs and plutocrats entitled The Association Between Major Mental Disorders and Geniuses, wherein it was shown that, quote, there exists an association between creativity and major mental disorders known since antiquity. The ancient Greeks considered both as having been touched by the gods. Aristotle in his perspicacity stated, that's a new word, perspicacity, sounds like perspective, there is no genius without having a touch of madness. This phenomenon has been verified repeatedly in the studies in the past. Does one phenomenon cause the other, or do both share a common underlying factor or mechanism? How are geniuses able to accomplish creative fits? Although the proposed origin and mechanism of the brain function of creative geniuses is novel, empirical evidence is available to support this theory. Empirical evidence demonstrates that creativity and major mental disorders share a common pool made up of individuals with an extreme temperamental variant who, if endowed with other qualities, for example, high intelligence, tenacity, curiosity, and energy, and live in a nurturing and complementary zeitgeist, can be creative geniuses. On the other hand, persons with a similar temperament but who do not have the additional qualities form common good, a common pool of individuals who are at increased risk for a major mental disorder. The early on diagnosis and forced drug administration immediately silences and stifles creativity and problem-solving abilities, not to mention the motivation to undo the wrongs of the world and render the world's people leaderless. The oligarchs and plutocrats' favorite and most highly funded publications, such as the Huffington Post, eschew mercilessly and repeatedly that early detection for mental illness is a must, while preaching on and on about today's young geniuses needing to be clipped right from the beginning before they do any real or meaningful damage to the existing status quo, which is often pretty evil. These articles go on ad nauseum about how it is absolutely essential to take out these geniuses of society as early as possible for the ultimate benefit of the ruling class. And this is exactly what the oligarchs and plutocrats want. Thank you for coming to Plain Mundane Show. Please hit like, subscribe, and ring the bell for notifications. I'm Alex Aquarius. Till next time, bye.